Put your hands behind your back, now. I didn't do anything wrong, Marcus says, just as the cuffs snap shut. It's a late-night traffic stop on a quiet roadside. One officer, one driver, flashing lights cutting through the dark. What started as a routine pullover is already spiraling. The cop never explained the stop. No reason, no warning. Now he's searching the car without permission, then suddenly claiming resisting when Marcus hasn't moved. It's not just aggressive, it's illegal. Then the officer leans in close and mutters, low and threatening, "Guys like you don't leave stops like this." At the same time, a second patrol car pulls up, and everything changes. Marcus glances at the dashboard for half a second, still recording. And just as the officer tightens the cuffs, someone new steps out of that second car. Before we go anywhere further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. The second officer doesn't rush in. He steps out slower than expected, almost cautious. Marcus notices it immediately. Different posture, different energy, not matching the first cop at all. "About time," Officer Rourke mutters, yanking Marcus's arms tighter behind his back. Guy's been acting suspicious from the start. Marcus exhales slowly, steadying himself as the metal cuffs bite into his wrists. Suspicious. That word again. No explanation. No justification. Just labels, used like weapons. The second officer, Lopez, according to the name tag, approaches but doesn't speak right away. His eyes flick from Marcus to Rourke, to the open car door where items are scattered across the seat. Clothes. A worn backpack. Nothing illegal. Nothing that explains this. Did he consent to the search? Lopez finally asks, voice low. Rourke doesn't even look at him. He didn't need to. That answer hangs in the air longer than it should. Marcus catches the shift. Small, subtle, but real. Because Lopez knows that's not how this works. "Sir," Marcus says carefully, keeping his tone controlled despite the pressure tightening around his wrists. "Am I being detained or arrested?" Rourke steps in closer, invading his space again. "You're being processed," he says flatly. "And if you keep talking, you're going to make it worse." Make it worse. Marcus goes quiet. Not because he's intimidated, but because he's measuring something. Timing, behavior, risk. His eyes flick, just briefly, toward the dashboard again. Still recording. Still capturing every word. Rourke turns away, pacing back toward the car, clearly irritated now, like something isn't going exactly how he planned. Lopez lingers, just for a second longer than necessary. Then he leans slightly toward Marcus and murmurs under his breath, "You might want to stop talking." It doesn't sound like a warning. It sounds like concern. And that's when Marcus realizes, not everyone here is on the same page. But before he can respond, Rourke spins back around, holding something in his hand. A small plastic bag. Empty. But he shakes it slightly, like he's about to make a point. "Funny thing," Rourke says, voice louder now, performative. "Sometimes we find things people forget they had." Marcus's jaw tightens. Because now it's clear. This isn't just a bad stop anymore. This is being set up. Right here. In real time. And the camera is still rolling. Rourke steps closer again, lowering his voice just enough. "You're gonna wish you cooperated." Marcus meets his eyes for the first time. No fear. No panic. Just something calm, almost calculated. Because if Rourke goes through with this, there's no coming back from it. Not for him. Not for anyone involved. And as Lopez shifts uncomfortably beside them, a third set of headlights appears in the distance, approaching fast. Rourke doesn't notice. Marcus does. And this time, he doesn't look away. The cuffs tighten, and Marcus finally breaks the silence. "Why am I being detained?" His voice is calm. Controlled. Almost too controlled for someone in handcuffs on the side of a dark road. Rourke lets out a short laugh, shaking his head like he's already made up his mind. "You'll get your answers downtown." That's not an answer. And everyone there knows it. Marcus shifts slightly, feeling the pressure of the metal digging into his wrists. Not resisting. Not pulling away. Just adjusting enough to stay balanced. Across from him, Lopez watches closely. Too closely. "You didn't read him anything," Lopez says quietly, almost like he's testing the waters. Rourke snaps back instantly. "I don't need to. He hasn't earned that yet." Earned it. Marcus exhales through his nose. That tells him everything he needs to know. This isn't procedure, it's control. Personal. Emotional. Rourke turns back to the car, continuing the search like he's determined to find something, anything, that justifies what he's already decided. He rips open the backpack again, dumps it fully this time. Clothes spill onto the pavement. A receipt, a cheap flashlight, a half-empty water bottle. Nothing illegal, nothing even suspicious. Still, Rourke keeps going. You see this? He calls out, holding up the receipt like it matters. Doesn't even match the time you said you were out. Marcus looks at him steadily. I didn't give you a time. For a split second, Rourke freezes. It's subtle, but it's there. Then he recovers, stepping forward aggressively. So now you're calling me a liar? Marcus says nothing. And somehow, that makes it worse. Because now Rourke is reacting, not thinking. Lopez shifts again, glancing down the road briefly, the same direction those distant headlights were coming from. They're closer now. But Rourke isn't paying attention. He grabs Marcus's arm again, rougher this time, pulling him a step forward. I've dealt with guys like you before, Rourke says, voice dropping lower, sharper. You think staying quiet makes you smart. It doesn't. Marcus finally speaks again. Quiet. Direct. I know my rights. That lands differently. Rourke smirks, but there's tension behind it now. Oh, I'm sure you do. He leans in closer. Problem is out here? My word matters more. That's the line. The moment, everything shifts from questionable to dangerous. Lopez looks between them, then toward the approaching lights again. They're almost here now. And whatever's about to happen next. Rourke has no idea he's already gone too far. Marcus lifts his head slightly, eyes tracking past Rourke for just a second, and a faint, almost unnoticeable change crosses his expression. Not fear, not relief, recognition. Rourke tightens his grip again, completely unaware. Turn around, he orders. We're done talking. Marcus doesn't resist, but as he slowly turns, he says one thing, low enough that only Rourke hears it. You really want to do this on camera? Rourke pauses, just for a fraction of a second. Camera, he repeats. And for the first time since the stop began, there's hesitation. Real hesitation. Because now, something doesn't feel so controlled anymore. And before Rourke can respond, those headlights flood the scene. Bright, blinding, and stopping right behind them. A car door opens, and this time, it's not another patrol unit. Who the hell is that? Rourke mutters under his breath, squinting into the headlights. The car that just arrived isn't marked police. No sirens. No department insignia. Just a black SUV sitting heavy in the middle of the road like it owns the space. Marcus notices instantly. His posture doesn't change, but something in his eyes does. Recognition again. Lopez takes a half step back without realizing it. Rourke, still holding Marcus's arm, doesn't let go. Stay where you are. He snaps, more at Marcus than anyone else. The SUV door opens. Two men step out. Calm. Controlled. No urgency. That alone feels wrong in a situation like this. One of them pauses, scanning the scene. Cuffs, scattered belongings, Rourke's aggressive stance, Lopez's hesitation. Then his eyes land on Marcus. And everything sharpens. Officer Rourke, the man calls out. Rourke straightens slightly. Yeah, who are you? The man doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he walks forward, slow, deliberate, like he already knows exactly what's happening here. Lopez shifts again, visibly uncomfortable now, because something about these men doesn't feel local, doesn't feel routine. The second man stays near the SUV, watching silently, hand near his jacket. Marcus finally speaks, calm, measured. You might want to let go of my arm. Rourke laughs again, but it's thinner now. Or what? That's when the first man stops walking. Close enough now that his voice drops, just slightly. Or you're going to have a very bad night. The air changes instantly. Rourke's grip tightens reflexively. Who are you supposed to be, he demands. The man reaches into his inner jacket pocket slowly. Lopez freezes completely. Marcus doesn't move. The pocket opens. A badge flashes. But it's not local police. It's federal. Rourke sees it, and for the first time, his expression falters. Just a crack. Not fear yet. Confusion. Because he doesn't fully understand what he's looking at. Federal Oversight Unit, the man says calmly. Step away from the subject. Subject. Not suspect. Not detainee. Subject. Rourke glances at Marcus for the first time like he's seeing him differently now. Marcus meets his eyes and doesn't say a word. Lopez slowly lowers his gaze to the ground, like he already knows this is going to end badly for someone. Rourke finally loosens his grip, just slightly. What is this? He asks, voice lower now. The federal agent doesn't blink. This is your stop. A pause. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Then, now step back. Rourke doesn't move immediately. His pride fights it. His authority fights it. But the situation is slipping. And he knows it. Marcus finally turns his head slightly toward him. Quietly, almost regretfully. You should have just checked my license. That lands harder than anything else tonight. Rourke's jaw tightens. And then, the second federal agent finally walks forward from the SUV. Slow. Intentional. And as he does, Lopez takes another step back, like he's already decided which side of this he wants to survive on. Rourke's voice drops. This is a misunderstanding. The agent shakes his head once. No, he says. It's not. And that's when he turns slightly toward Marcus and adds, we've been watching this stop since it started. Rourke goes still, because now, he realizes this wasn't random at all, and whatever he thought he was doing was already being recorded from the beginning. Rourke doesn't answer right away. For the first time, the confidence is gone. Not fully. He's still standing straight, but his eyes are doing something different now. Searching, replaying, trying to find a version of this situation where he's still in control. That's not. Rourke starts, then stops. Because Marcus finally shifts his stance slightly, and the cuffs are still on his wrists. Still there. Still visible. The federal agent steps closer, voice calm but absolute. It is. Lopez finally breaks his silence. Sir, I think you should. Rourke cuts him off instantly. Don't. But it's too late. The damage isn't coming from Lopez anymore. It's coming from everywhere. From the SUV dash cam, still running. From Marcus's recording. From the second federal agent already reviewing something on his phone. Rourke looks at Marcus again. Really looks this time. And the realization starts to hit. Not all at once, but in pieces. The subject, language. The lack of fear. The timing of the arrival. Marcus finally speaks again, steady. You didn't just stop a driver tonight. Rourke swallows. The federal agent nods slightly. You escalated an illegal detention, he adds. You searched a vehicle without probable cause. You fabricated resisting arrest. Each sentence lands heavier than the last. Rourke's grip on authority is slipping in real time. Lopez takes off his hat. That small movement says more than anything else. He's done. Rourke turns slightly, almost desperate now. I was doing my job. The federal agent doesn't raise his voice. That's what we're here to find out. A beat. Then, the second agent walks forward and signals toward Rourke's radio. Turn it off. Rourke hesitates. For the first time, he doesn't immediately obey. Marcus watches him closely now, not as a suspect, but as someone watching a collapse happen in real time. Then the federal agent says it again, slower. Turn it off. Rourke finally reaches for the radio. His hand shakes slightly, and the moment he presses the button, it goes silent. That silence feels louder than anything else tonight, because now there's no audience on his channel, no backup narrative being built, just reality. The federal agent steps closer, and this time, his tone changes just slightly. Still controlled, but final. You're not in charge of this scene anymore. Rourke looks at Marcus one last time, like he wants him to say something that will undo it. But Marcus doesn't. He just watches. And that's what breaks it. Not anger. Not resistance. Just certainty. The cuffs on Marcus finally come off. Metal clicks. Freedom returns slowly. Rourke takes a small step back without realizing it. And that's when the federal agent gives the order. Officer Daniel Rourke, you are being detained. Rourke's face tightens immediately. For what? The agent doesn't hesitate. For unlawful arrest, abuse of authority, and obstruction of a federal operation. That word lands hardest of all. Operation. Rourke finally turns his head slightly and sees it. Not just Marcus. Not just the agents. But the full structure behind it. The setup. The plan. The months leading to this exact moment. And for the first time, he understands. He wasn't catching someone tonight. He was being measured. All along. As the agents step closer to place the cuffs on Rourke, he finally whispers. This was a setup? The federal agent doesn't answer immediately. He just looks at Rourke. And that silence is the answer. Then finally, yes. One word. Clean. Final. Unavoidable. Rourke exhales sharply, shaking his head like he can physically reject it. You can't just. I was doing my job. Marcus stands a few feet away now, cuffs gone, rubbing his wrists slowly. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't need to. The second federal agent steps forward and starts reading from a file. Not opinions, not accusations. Facts. Multiple complaints. Pattern of unlawful searches. Prior internal warnings.